Even if only one defect was found, it is very unpleasant for customers who purchased the vehicle. It is important to conduct not to receive defect, not to produce defect, and not to pass defect at each process. The fundamentals to building quality are as follows. 1. Self-assurance by operator. 2. Quality assurance by checkman system. 3. Final assurance at final area. As a total management, Qrqc stands for Quick Response, Quick Control. The key point of Qrqc is to control PDCA cycle of quality quickly. There are 3 key points as follows. Building quality as operator himself. Quick response to defect with 3 Gen principles, that is, on shop floor, Gemba, with actual object, Genbutsu, by realistic method, Genjisteki. Solve with cross-functional effort, such as by production engineer and production control. For one of Qrqc functions, we have Qrqc meeting. From now, I will explain how to solve quality defect and how to proceed the meeting. Qrqc meeting has been held once a day. Shop floor is always changing, and if the meeting is not implemented once a day, we cannot grasp the shop floor situation. The members are comprised with mainly director and department manager to decide and implement countermeasure as soon as possible when problems occur. Manager from each shop has been mandatory to attend the meeting, from stamping, body, paint, plastic, and trim and chassis, including department manager from production, QA, and engineering. Also, representative senior supervisor from each section and department attend the meeting. They are assistants of department manager and are responsible persons for managing shop floor. In addition, manager from engineering department, production, logistics, and maintenance section, and representative senior supervisor and staff from each shop attend the meeting in order to take countermeasure against the issue relating to production and logistics and issue relating facilities and engineering. If they cannot attend the meeting, it is necessary to send a substitute. At this line, the meeting is held basically for 30 minutes every morning from 9 o'clock. You affix nameplate on the desk in the meeting room so it is clear for participants to know where to sit, and also that makes it easy to see who is not in the meeting. When manager is not available for the meeting, a substitute such as representative senior supervisor take the seat. At first, production condition and quality condition from the previous day are reported, and information of what happened on the shop floor is shared to take appropriate countermeasure. First, production control reports planned production and actual production. Share the information of whether unachieved targets are caused by such as the quality defect or facility breakdown. Senior supervisor of trim and chassis final area reports number of inline repair, offline repair, contents of major defects, and number of final on-hands from previous day. Quality assurance department reports VES evaluation results, an indicator of driving tests from the previous day as information of shipping quality of products. It is better to have quality report from service center. By all kinds of information, we will have more room to discuss countermeasure to improve quality. Maintenance section reports information of equipment troubles. It is necessary to share the information since line stoppage caused by equipment trouble affects actual performance in production. Engineering department reports not only the defects the department is responsible for, but also condition of countermeasure against defects that cannot be dealt with only by manufacturing department. This is because the department takes tentative action until permanent countermeasure is completed, or proceeds with the tentative action, cooperating with the related departments. In addition, managers who is responsible for the countermeasure against defect that occurred previously has to report the progressive condition of the countermeasure. It depends on the plant if additional items need to be added, but this is the least information you have to share at the meeting. Chairman of Qrqc meeting should be General Manager of Production Department. This is because General Manager from Production Department, who holds the ultimate responsibility to decide countermeasure, being a chairman, it will be faster to reach the final decision. The facilitator is a senior supervisor of final area, because the senior supervisor who knows quality condition well at the final area facilitating the meeting, proceeding of the meeting, and provision of information to the related departments can be quick. Now I would like to introduce the example of how you can respond to defects. We had a report of water leak from rear door glass at the shower check of production vehicle. Senior supervisor of final area confirmed the condition of the defect and contacted senior supervisor of glass fitting process immediately. In this shop, contact information of upstream such as stamping and body shop is always written up on a routine basis, and when trouble occurs, they are able to contact immediately. Upon receiving the information, senior supervisor of the process left the meeting and immediately went to the supervisor responsible for the zone to confirm the current model. It is important to confirm the actual product at any time, not limited to the quality problems. They took off rear door glass and confirmed the condition. Sealing folded down because it was thinner, so it caused attachment defect and a water leak occurred. Sealing became thinner because the end tip of the nozzle of sealant application equipment seemed to be clogged by sealant. Supervisor responsible for the zone grasped the current condition. It can be understood especially through how much 4Ms, man, material, machine, and method have been changed. When grasping the current condition, quantitative data, numbers, should be used as much as possible. Meanwhile, senior supervisor of final area leads the procedure to confirm the condition of passing defects. We must not pass the vehicle with a defect to the market. First, you confirm if there is a vehicle with the same defect among completed vehicles, and if there is, you specify the first vehicle with the defect. Also, there are units with the same defect on line between the zone in which the defect occurred and final area. You confirm the particular units. Mr. Saito conducts the relevant sealing operation. He has been responsible for the operation for more than 3 months and his skill level is L. There were no changes taking place in sealant and sealant application equipment before and after occurrence of the defect. Startup inspection and cleanup are conducted by Mr. Saito. On that day, startup inspection and cleanup were conducted, and the record was left. It was found out that the operational method remained the same, and a standard operation sheet was followed. So, the supervisor assumed the problem originated from nozzle cleanup. Sealing was thinner when he confirmed the actual vehicle, and decided to go further with the research. Next, the supervisors confirmed exactly when Mr. Saito cleaned up the nozzle at the beginning of the operation. He usually cleans up the nozzle right after he arrives at work. He usually cleans up the nozzle 20 to 30 minutes before line begins operating and dips it in the anticoagulant. However, on that day of the defect occurrence, he happened to come to work earlier and cleaned up the nozzle 60 minutes before. When he confirmed standard operation sheet to find out exactly how many minutes before the line began operating the nozzle needed to be cleaned up, the time was not indicated. The supervisor came to a conclusion that the nozzle had never clogged up before since the cleanup was conducted 30 minutes or less before, but on that day of defect occurrence, it was conducted 60 minutes before. Thus, even though the nozzle was dipped in anticoagulant, the sealant was coagulated more or less, and it clogged up the nozzle. The supervisor contacted the senior supervisor of the process, an engineer, and discussed the countermeasure. The engineer also assumed that the cause is that the cleanup had been conducted 60 minutes before. Thus, the engineer researched the data of the sealant and figured out that it would not coagulate if cleanup was conducted 10 minutes or less before the line began running. The supervisor, senior supervisor, and staff from engineering department decided to standardize the timing. This is to clean up 10 minutes or less before the line begins running. The staff from engineering department specified the timing of cleanup on an instruction card and sent the revised instruction card to the supervisor. For countermeasure, the supervisor and senior supervisor reported the followings to the manager and received an approval. To indicate on standard operation sheet that cleanup is to be conducted 10 minutes before the line starts the operation. To instruct operators to start cleaning up the nozzle 10 minutes before the line starts the operation. Manager reported defects from the previous day at Qrqc meeting next day. It is determined the manager reports at the meeting. The content of report is determined based on line condition and prerequisites. Defect in important A and B area. Repeated defect. Items pointed out in Qrqc V1. Those 3 items should be prioritized in reporting. When manager, a person in charge, has to report at the meeting, better communication can be created with shop floor grasping the current condition. And also when manager discusses efficacy and validity of countermeasure with supervisors and senior supervisors, better countermeasure can be produced. We have to observe the transition of quality to see if the countermeasure completely solves the problem. Usually, even though the countermeasure is only halfway done, it is significant to report the course of the countermeasure. Reporting the process of the countermeasure at Qrqc meeting means we can get a better idea more quickly than only our own process tries to come up with ideas. And we also get a cross-functional response, including maintenance section and engineering department. Progressive control for defect is to be proceeded as follows. Defective items to be reported is called open. Out of these, items whose countermeasure has already been reported and completed are called close. Close refers to items with completed permanent countermeasure. Total number of open and close is progressively controlled every day. This is called open-close control. More specifically, progressive control is conducted utilizing forms like these. Aside from Qrqc meeting, carryback meeting is held for each production line. This meeting is held once per shift at each production line. Although main purpose of Qrqc meeting is to share information and discuss countermeasure among directors and managers who are in charge of plant administration. Main purpose of carryback meeting is to share information and discuss countermeasure among senior supervisors who are in charge of shop floor administration. Since countermeasure for the specific production line is discussed in the meeting, participants are representative senior supervisors from final area, QA, logistics, maintenance, and engineering department, and representative engineering staff. The content of Qrqc meeting is shared among participants first, and the specific issue carried back by your own shop is discussed to take action. As for the issue of sealing carried back by today, the report was conducted at each carried back meeting, and the participants shared the information, and at the same time, they confirmed if the countermeasure was conducted correctly. And a similar case existed in your own process. Since carryback meeting is held once per shift, the same information from Qrqc meeting is shared in the meeting held in other shift. Through this method, the information is shared in the whole plant, and efficient quality control can be achieved. At Qrqc meeting and carryback meeting, it is determined that the problem should be managed in the meeting as much as possible, and each participant assumes he or she is responsible for quality problem, and problem should be solved with cross-functional effort. Now, I would like to organize key points of Qrqc. Those are the key points to circulate Qrqc quickly. Each operator builds in quality. Defect is taken action against immediately with 3 GAN principles. Solution by cross-functional effort, such as each manufacturing, engineering, and production control. The next are key points for Qrqc meeting. Qrqc meeting is held once a day. Each participant should be a person who is allowed to make decisions to execute countermeasure The countermeasure against a defect from the previous day has to be reported. Manager is the one to report the countermeasure. Solve the problem with cross-functional effort. Those are the 5 key points. Also, these are key points for defect response. Respond to defects quickly on shop floor. Go to the shop floor, observe actual object, and think practical countermeasure. Think prevention of passing defect first. Tentative countermeasure have to be implemented immediately. Take permanent countermeasures to eliminate the root cause. Keep these key points in mind and proceed Qrqc. At the end, the following are 10 Qrqc commandments. Don't skip the meeting because you are busy. Quality is the first. Substitute is must. Don't make analysis to escape your responsibility of defects. First, think it is your fault. Don't make any judgment only with information you received. Defend 3 GIM principles to death. Don't leave any defects unsolved as you are not able to solve on your own. Report everything in Qrqc meeting. Don't only give instructions to your subordinates. Superiors need to follow up the process and the result. Don't expect solutions by only asking. Everyone is busy, keep following up. Don't feel comfortable just because the countermeasure sounds good enough. Check the result with actual object. Don't give countermeasures through your experience. Look at the data. Don't give all responsibility for cause of defect to operator. Think all responsibilities are yours. Don't pass all the countermeasure to supervisors. Manager should learn with senior supervisor and supervisor. Through this effective Qrqc meeting, please conduct better plant administration.